Hi guys, welcome back to another Overthrow Disc Golf video. Thank you so much for tuning in. Today we are going to talk about the back leg. There's a lot going on in the internet about the back leg. Hopefully we can clarify things that it doesn't do and things that it does do. So stand up, get ready to feel some of this. Let's get to work. Drop. First question, do you push off of the back leg? It depends. So, in a traditional walk-up, I'm of the opinion that you do not want to push off of the back leg because we have momentum from our walk-up. So, for example, right here, I'm building momentum, right? So by the time I get to this left leg, I'm not trying to push off of that into my right leg because I've got all the momentum I need from earlier, right? So at this point, once I get onto my left leg, my back leg, I'm simply drifting. So from there, I'm just kind of gliding forward on this back leg. Why is that important? Well, if you start trying to push off of this back leg here, and you rush, you run out of coil time. So we need to spend a long time on this back foot drifting, gliding forward here, because I need as much time as I can get to coil as far back as I can. So it's really important to not push off of that because all you're gonna do is shortchange yourself on the time that you need to coil. With that being said, there is a situation where you have to push off the back leg and it's for a standstill. So for standstills, we're not bringing momentum in, right? We're already here. So obviously, I'm not moving here. So what we do on standstills is we kind of rock forward and then we rock back, and now we rock forward into the front foot from the back foot. So we do have to push in a standstill. All right, now I'll just demonstrate. Question 2, do we twist the back leg, specifically the back knee in, right? We see this position with pros. Notice the back leg's not like this, right? It's slightly turned in. Now, we don't intentionally turn it in. Some people's twists more than others, but the move is just by fact that we're trying to go forward and slide here and stop on this front foot. I'm gonna get a little bit of turn from that knee as I naturally go to commit to my front foot and slide, right? That coupled with the fact that we're gonna be turning here, this knee naturally wants to twist a little bit. Okay, so that's not an active thing. There's no active turning of this back hip, of this back leg. We're not looking for this position, right? This is something where you're twisting off of the ground. You can do this even if you try to twist de-weighted, for example. So de-weighted as in no weight on my back foot. So if I try to go boom, I can twist this leg without it being on the ground. That's not what we're trying to do. We're simply trying to get to the front foot as if you were sliding across your floor, and any twisting in of the knee is a result of committing to the front leg and proper posture, proper stopping. Question 3, what about the placement of my foot specifically coming out of this cross step? Right, you've heard not to walk backwards, right? And some of you might in your mind say it needs to be perpendicular. Well, if you listen closely to what I say in videos, it's a little bit diagonally turned back, right? It's near perpendicular is the range, but you won't see a single pro actually perpendicular. right? What we're looking for here is somewhere a little bit diagonally turned back to maybe even up to 45 degrees. The issue for most people is when they get here because it turns their hips all the way back and then they have no coil, right? But depending on how your feet are attached to the rest of your legs and your hips and all that stuff will determine what angle here is most beneficial for you, right? And what you're looking for, because of this left foot, is you're looking for, like we talked about the glide earlier, you want a position where you can hang out here. So you want good posture. You're gonna be towards the toes a little bit, and we're gonna have this nice bend in the hips, right? And from here, I need to be able to glide forward balanced. Not only that, but I need my hips to be in a position where I can turn my shoulders past them. So that's what excludes this position, right? We cannot go here, most of us cannot go here and maintain balance in fall like this and not open our hips and get our shoulders past our hips, right? My hips are here and so are my shoulders. So there's no tension built up between the two. So that's why we have more towards the perpendicular than the back, but it's not. Get that foot perpendicular. I see you guys on various form check groups saying, get your back foot perpendicular. It's not perpendicular. As a matter of fact, most pros are probably closer to the 45 with their mobility than perpendicular. You have to find, following the general principles of balance and coil, where your foot will specifically be, but wherever that ends up being, it's going to allow you to coil. It's going to allow you to drift on this left foot for a long time, or your back foot. The best way I know to describe the back leg is as a counterweight. Sounds fancy, it's not. You've already seen this in action before and you for sure have felt it. But let me give you probably the easiest sports example that you can think of. Bowling. So they use this concept in lots of sports, but bowling for sure is one of them. Right, you can kind of imagine that signature pose to finish here, like this, right? That little boom and they're swinging. Well, why does that need to be there, right? Why am I throwing, if I'm trying to put energy here, how does swinging this foot opposite of that help me throw a 15, 16 pound bowling ball down the lane? And the idea is counterweight, right? If I've got something really heavy and I'm throwing it over here, this offsets that on the other side of the body. It allows me not to just fly down the lane with it and get drugged by the bowling ball, but now I can kind of anchor myself, and then I've got total control over the bowling ball now because I got this big beefy leg on the other side of my body balancing me out, and it lets me really get after it without just flying open. Same thing in disc golf. Grab something kind of heavy with the handle. So I'm using this kettlebell. You can grab a gallon of milk, paint bucket, really anything moderately heavy with the handle. Okay, so without breaking our balance, i.e. without doing this number, like whipping the head weird directions, right? Get in your good posture, squat down a little bit, get your butt out, get over your knees, right? And on one leg, your lead leg, balance, we're just gonna keep our offhand by our side. Now, what I want you to do is I want you to maintain balance while moving this object different places. Okay, I'm gonna go from this angle. All right, so do this with me. Let's take it forward, maintaining center control with our head. So this posture is fine, right? I can move it different places. Let's move it backwards. Notice as I go to center up the weight, it's gonna come closer to my leg's also gonna come closer to center. Same thing, further away. Well, now my foot needs to be further away to balance here. Right, let's go backwards. Let's go on like this crazy backwards move here. Oh, keep my hand at my side. Right, so this is all that's happening. Now let's change it up a little bit. Let's go sideways. Right? You might have heard our friend Loop Ghost say equal and opposite, right? This is it. Let's go crossbody. This one's kind of weird. I have to get lower to do this for sure. right? Or maybe even crossbody behind. Right, so that's the idea, is that this is moving to help keep you balanced and to help you control this weight. Non-bonus option, we're gonna put in our left hand, okay? Pause the video and do the same thing with your left hand. You're gonna thank me later. Okay, 2 things that you probably noticed from that. 1, thank goodness I don't throw with that hand. And 2, congratulations. Our PT friends out there will be happy for us. Now take that same weight and imagine that we're moving the sucker, right? So we're from back here and now it's forward, right? So go ahead and swing this and feel what has to happen with your trail leg to keep you from toppling over. Your body likes to be in balance. So the reason that I'm showing you this is because people, when they start working and paying attention to their trail leg, they try to stick it and then they try to lock it in place, right? But as this thing moves, my leg wants to move different places just to keep me balanced. So don't make it too rigid when you work on this. Let your body balance itself out while we move. Let's grab a disc. All right, so again on this front leg, just feeling how this is helping to keep me balanced. Feels much lighter now that you put down the milk, doesn't it? Cool, so it just wants to hang out back. There's very fluid. Sometimes you see people, when they throw, you'll see this kind of double tap back here that people are talking about online, right? That's just a function of keeping it there. Also, remember how we did this height, right? Well, in disc golf, if I go more down here, what angle am I going more towards? Hyzer, right? So, what does this mean? If we're talking about not micromanaging the back leg, and I get down here, what does that mean? That means naturally when you see people on hyzers, their leg's gonna be further back, right? So Eagle McMahon's leg's gonna be pretty far back because he throws big old hyzer tilt here, right? Just to keep him balanced. If you go more towards the anhyzer or a roller, what happens? Well, now this leg wants to be set up more over on this side of your body to keep you balanced as you attack. So just to kind of put a bow on this, let's throw some shots in these different angles and see if we can kind of maintain our balance. My little steady lotus here. And just go on a nice big knife hyzer. And that's how my body's gonna move. Okay, just feeling it comfortable. Definitely a knife hyzer. Good. This is a very natural place for that to finish. If I'm here, if I'm over the shot, this leg doesn't want to go woo to balance me, right? Very natural for you to kind of flare out left here. Let's just go with a standard hyzer now. Now I'm gonna grab something flippy, a little tone soda action. Feeling, okay, where does it want to stay for me to be balanced here? Right, certainly a little wider now. Started falling through a little more on that side of my body. Okay, we're gonna go to baby hyzer, AKA flat. Let me correct that real quick. There we go. Yep. So you notice there, very natural. A more leftward finish now on my baby hyzer. You're gonna see that as you start working through these angles, I start going to anhyzer now. Let's grab a cookie. Start going to anhyzer now. Okay, to stay balanced, this is where my leg's gonna wanna stay. It's gonna be a little tighter to my midline. Boom, anhyzer, okay. Right, it's definitely gonna come around more because now I've got this little hit. Now roller, gonna go with our wild honey. What's the overall body move? What does this wanna do? It kind of wants to cartwheel this way as part of its follow through, right? So, okay, that's naturally where it wants to go on a roller. I meant cut roller. So that's kind of how it fits into the big picture, right? But all that's coming from that same idea of, okay, if I'm not gonna fly open here on most of my shots, I'm not gonna fly open, this is gonna have to hang out because I'm putting a lot of pressure over here, a lot of force. So naturally, to stay balanced, which my body loves, it wants something on the opposite end, which is kind of like diagonal of it. All right, friends, I hope that was helpful and kind of demystified some of the back leg for you. If you need additional information, feel free to sign up for our Patreon, get one-on-one lessons. That's all in the link in the description below. Yeah. Thanks for tuning in. Peace out.